No one hates Atomic Heart more than the makers of Atomic Heart. Atomic Heart is fine. The art is nice, if somewhat muddled, the controls are relatively tight, though combat feels a little broken. The dash mechanic is definitely bad game design, but it is fine. The endless, pointless, and interruptive puzzles, meshing as they do with combat in a way that makes both less enjoyable, are all fine. These are minor sins that any game could accidentally make during game production and simply not have the time to fix or change before release. But that's not what happened in Atomic Heart. The character you play as is likable, his reactions honest.
Demon, be gone!
He hates this game. He points out all the tropes and the annoying game mechanics, the needless puzzles, the constant frustrating and stupid level designs. There's no chance that the game designers did not know that these mechanics were bad. They didn't just fail to make a good game, they made a bad game on purpose. Angrily shouting something at your screen only to hear your character then angrily shout the exact same thing to his glove is mystifying.
What do I do now? Lug this shit to the boiler myself?
If they knew how the player would react to the mechanic, and they knew the mechanic in the game was bad, then why did they include the bad mechanic in the game? Frustrating puzzle? Your character will say how frustrating it is.
Holy fuck. Did I just kill all of them?
Dumb level design? You'd better believe that your character is going to make a mention of that.
It's a good thing the pipe's opening's in the next room and not over by the birch tree.
Did they make this game ironically? Can I get my money back if I say I purchased it ironically? Here's an example. Lock minigames are bad game design. You have to play the same game over and over. How does Atomic Heart fix this game design challenge while maintaining the puzzle-solving atmosphere of the game? At first, it seems like they solved it by making every lock unique. But then you start hitting repeats of the same puzzle. Fair enough. But the puzzles aren't either interesting or engaging. They add nothing to the game, and they serve only the purpose of irritating the player and slowing your progress. You know who noticed this issue? Your character.
Even locks like cookies, right?
So why are they in the game in the first place? They aren't hard except that you usually have to solve them while being attacked. Which brings us to combat. Set the game to easy mode. Do yourself a favor. The combat in the first half of the game is done in largely dimly lit rooms, and enemies are constantly dashing into your blind spots. Aiming in Atomic Hearts is clunky, and when you do get hit, oftentimes you're knocked off your feet, and the disorienting effect of being thrown to the ground makes aiming at enemies a nightmare. Also, not for nothing, you get sexually assaulted by what appears at first to be a fridge.
Just let me tie you to the bed, baby. No need to fight back, sugar. You're gonna love this.
And the fridge constantly sexually harasses you.
I am here to help you upgrade your red-hot pocket rockets.
Not in a playful way, but in a very unpleasant and gross way.
But I can do so much more.
This isn't a flirty fridge, it's a fridge that should be in prison. The fridge ends up being an upgrade station, but that doesn't really help. It just confuses the player, and unsurprisingly, it confuses the character you are playing as well.
What the fuck?
Every stage of this game is correctly criticized by the game in the form of your character, and yet they did not choose to simply remove the obviously bad and broken mechanics, character, and level designs, and instead kept them in. Why? Why would Atomic Heart do this? Nothing in this game makes sense. It tries to be zany, but it's much too serious. It tries to be fun, but it's much too dark. It tries to be a puzzle game, but the puzzles are too easy. It tries to be a shooter, but the mechanics don't work in a way which would make them fun. People compare it to BioShock and the USSR. The company that made the game certainly tried to do that. I would say it borders on plagiarism, but its critique of science and utopianism plays second fiddle to its critique of bad game design, and it demonstrates this bad game design by being a frustrating mess. Is it terrible? Maybe, but it could have been great. The worst part is that the game designers knew how it could have been great, and chose to fill it with bad game design on purpose instead. This wasn't just a waste of $60 and a few hours of my life, it was a waste of a game with serious potential. Remove the lock minigame, remove the pointless references to the 50s that were already convincingly demonstrated in the general atmosphere of the game. Remove the dash mechanic and the constant disempowering of the character at the very end of the game, when you slog through all these purposely included lazy and broken mechanics. Like a much worse war games, the only way you can truly win in Atomic Heart is to have never played it at all.